Hello everyone and welcome to Matchday 11 with the biggest, bestest moo as we continue our Éire League adventures with the Chaos Renegades versus TovarasNicu's humans. Since the last game, yeah, we've had Christmas and you've missed 2 games. So there was a game against Spenbo Baggins' orcs which we lost, and that was like, I played that game a couple of hours before flying back home to Ireland, so I didn't have time to do the replay. Not that I wanted to do the replay anyway, as yeah, we weren't in the game at all for the whole thing. And then we had a game against the AI, which we got the win, of course. So yeah, Matchday 11 versus Tovaras. We have our 3 big guys for the first game ever, I think. Let's watch it from our POV. So yeah, we have the Mino, the Rat Ogre, and the Ogre for the first time ever. We did a bit of randoming before this game. So our Frenzy Rat randomed block amazingly. Our block Lino random tentacles. We random a kick on a random lineman. I couldn't remember whether he had pro or whether he had wrestle to start with. I think he had wrestle. I think he was a wrestle lineman and he's random pro. And our ogre who had block has randomed strong arm, and we also randomed the tackle. Our goblin who had leap, if you remember, also randomed, and I don't know what he got, but it was like leap and something else, and I just decided, right, you know what, let's just fire him. And then we're up against Tovaras's humans, 13 players, so we both have 13 players. He has a tackle lino like ourselves. He has a guard ogre, a blodge step catcher, 2 guard blitzers, a wrestle lino, and a mighty blow blitzer, and a block thrower at the back. And there is sweltering heat as well, so you know, fantastic. Just what everyone wants. So let's get into the thick of it. We use kick in hopes that we might get a blitz, but we didn't. And we're both playing in blue kits, or both playing in green kits, so red and blue mode. Pow on our tackler. And our tacklers instantly miss next game. This team has been going through an absolute cycle of MNGs. Thankfully we had the game against the AI so that we could clear them up. Like, honestly, the only reason we have the 3 big guys this game is probably because we had the game against the AI. I can't remember what happened at the end of the game against Spenbo Baggins and his orcs. But I'm sure we must have taken a couple of MNGs. Surely. So, goes for the pickup, gets it, and is going for a vanity pass in the first turn, and gets it. So, this game was streamed live over on my Twitch on Sunday morning. The block ogre was the safest blitz, I thought, and pretty cool to get rid of the tackle as well, if we could. Rat ogre decides to pop animal savagery, so, and the Mino doesn't want to do anything either. Pretty funny. Big guys, they'll break your heart. Comes in for the blitz on the tackle block man. And gets his guard off the Mino. Always good to get your guard off. Ogre pops in to give him the 2D on the orc with block. Gets him down. Our orc is on two niggles now, so we might have to think about cycling the orc soon. It's not really something I pay too much attention to on the team page, but I notice a lot when I'm playing the games, and it's just because there's so much of a break between playing the game and then actually coming around to managing the team, I forget about it. But now that I've seen that the orc is MNG, or has 2 niggles, sorry, we might consider replacing him. Ogre gets a KO with Mighty Blow. I did miss that that lineman. I was coming in for the blitz here to maybe pin the guard on the sideline, and I thought there was no one next to him, so it was a bit of a lapse in judgment from me. But we have the 3 frenzy guys over on the one sideline, ready to punish any sort of play in which we might get some frenzying. Gets a pow on the orc again. So we're one removal apiece here. Ogre on ogre action results in just a push for the humans. Just pretty nice. I thought the humans might switch here, honestly. I think they probably should. Seemingly, that rowdy reroll was actually a misclick with the controller. Tavares popped in and let me know after the game, because I said it was a really rowdy, greedy reroll at the time, and I mean it is. I stand by what I said, but yeah, it was really interesting. And fails to dodge because of prehensile tail. So now then, the ball has come very close to us. Veer's close to us altogether, you know, like there are options. We can block with the ogre and get him onto the ball. I think I take a more greedy line, do I? Oh, okay, so the ogre boneheaded. Right. Maybe that changed my plans. Because we go for this 2 into 1 after this, and then we decide to put in the reroll. which is insanity, right? But I basically wanted to get the prehensile tail onto the ball. Which I don't know, was probably a bit silly of me. And then just use our 2 heads to come in and make sure that he has to dodge this way. On a 4+. Which is actually pretty good for him, right? Turns around. And then he burns a reroll on this 1D. And Kaz's and Miss Nexts are rat. So that's two removals, 2 Miss Nexts. Gets a pow on the Dark Elf as well. Who is just stunned, thankfully. And then 1D both downs, re-rolled into 1D skull, meaning that the ball is just based by the rat ogre, and the humans are out of re-rolls. So the ogre throws a hit and gets a stun on the guard. Mino comes in to make himself useful, basically just to tie all these players up if we can, before the rat ogre takes 3 dice into 3 dice, which is what I wanted to do. So we don't get him on the first one. We do get him on the second hit. Rat ogre gets a stun. The ball ends up in his tackle zone. We jump over. And I think this was a mistake by me, to be honest. I think so we jump over the prone player here. There was nothing else we really wanted to do anyway, right? I think he was stunned. So we jump over here, right? Because we have pro. So we don't need to use team rerolls or anything. And then once we get to here, we dodge to here rather than dodging onto the ball. I think that's much better. As it is, right? As it is, he can just pick the ball up with the tackle lino, right? But he does a 1D skull instead. And the Mino KOs him. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good for us. So the Wrestle Pro guy goes where he probably should have gone in the first place. The Ogre just comes in for the blitz so we can try and get the Dark Elf out and maybe pick up the ball. I'm quite happy where the Rat Ogre is here. Because he's keeping both catchers and a guard tied up with Prehensile Tail. So we get the dodge, we get the pickup, we get the rush. Mino decides he doesn't want to hit, so we try to take the dodge off. Don't put the reroll into it. And a very short turn as well there for Tovaras. So the Ogre boneheads the blitz on the Wrestle Pro guy, and then the catcher tries the 5+ dodge out. So Dark Elf just runs away. Our Ogre boneheads. Our Minotaur decides he also wants to fail his Unchanneled Fury. And then I just decide to leave everything else there. Rat Ogre's doing a splendid job of keeping people tied up. We base the Ogre so he doesn't blitz the Rat Ogre. Because, you know, Rat Ogres are worth more than Wrestle Pro. Although Wrestle Pro is getting to the stage where we kind of like it. We kind of like it a lot. But not quite enough to, you know, want to throw away 150k because an Ogre hit it. And then he falls over and KOs himself, which means that we get the perfect 8-turn stall. So I think basically this guy is the only one that can actually base us. So we'll try and take him out of it. So the Mino has to do a rush to get a push. And we get there. So now he can't base us at all. And we make a second rush and we get the 3 dice. And this Mino just refuses to get 2 SVV. And Rat Ogre fails his animal savagery. A lot of ones for these renegades. So 3 KOs is pretty good for us, and we're turning over the humans. Very, very productive drive. I think he's going for the foul here. Yeah. I did say at the time that the foul was really interesting in that, like, it could have been good for us in that he could have gone sent off, but it could have also been bad for us in that, you know, we could have been Kaz or something and capped on 10. Because as it is, we're only down 2 players, so we still have a full 11. Can't remember if I take... I take 3 dice with the Ogre right on the catcher. And we do get the POW with Mighty Blow. Kaz. So he could have been sent off in the foul and he wasn't. So the Ogre decided to take care of him for us. So 1-0 to us after half time. So they got 2 out of, or no, they got 1 out of 3 KOs. And we obviously didn't get any of our casualties back. Although I swear Rick Reckless got a casualty back at one point. I swear he did. I swear Rick rolled so well on the KO table once that his casualties came back. So, changing weather. So it's 11 versus 10 at the moment to us. So we have a slice advantage. And 3 Mighty Blow hits coming up. Gets the POW on the halfling. gets the KO. So 10 versus, or 11 versus 9 now. And pop this guy in to make this the 3 dice blitz, so that we try to avoid basing the ogre, which we fail to do. So rather than taking the mighty blow hit, I decide that we're gonna dodge the Mino, because I quite like the Mino. I don't know if anyone can tell. The whole team is called the biggest bestest moo. So it would have been an absolute travesty to lose him before he gets block, especially. The humans deploying the well-known tactic of base all the men's. Gets the 4+ dodge from tail. And we just get to make a simple cage, really. Mighty blow on the mighty blow is fine. Block tentacles, blocks down the guard. He's also fine. Frees up our kick guy. And then that's it. No need to activate the big guys other than the blitz. So comes in for the blitz on the goblin. The goblin survives. Now, I was really hoping he wouldn't put Blodge Step on the ball. And he didn't. But he probably should have. Tentacles fails. Dodge succeeds. Another dodge succeeds over there. So then, because the Blodge Step isn't on the ball, it's pretty easy to just clear off the block blitzer. So that's exactly what we do. And then the cage just gets to move up slightly. We have 2D here with the goblin, which I think I turned down, because we don't want to have him up here. So trading like the tentacles for here is pretty good, I thought myself. And yeah, the sides where our opponent's blitz is going. And he just comes around. Catcher runs back. And a few dodges. So then I see this pretty weak spot. And think to myself, well, if we can push him out the way with the frenzy piece, we're completely through. And we can, you know, go for the 2-0. Which is exactly what we do. So we break through. Maybe a little bit of trap space. But I don't know. Seemed to work out alright. We based the ogre. And well, it's just Operation Base all the men's, really, isn't it? So the miner was going to go into there. And yeah, goblin dodges off. There we go. And then we decide to not put in the reroll, so our opponent, well, protecting this side was pretty pretty important, right? Because he could just come in for the 6+1D or something. Like, it's quite unlikely that's what happens, but it's possible for sure, isn't it? It's possible. So we do give up a couple of hits here, which isn't amazing, but sometimes you got to give up a couple of hits to get the touchdown done, right? 1D POW on our lineup, who survives. which means he gets to tackle Lino off to base the ogre, and his ogre dodges off, which I was like, oh man, that's a pain in the hole, isn't it? But don't worry, I have the biggest secret in the world, how to deal with ogres. It's called just taking loads of hits. And then eventually blitzing him with a Minotaur. Mino on ogre action. Boom! Gets the stun. So now we're just going to move the rat ogre and then try to score. So the rat ogre decides to eat his teammate in order to move. And then we pop it in for 2-0. So I mean, at 2-0, like pretty comfortable. Probably not going to be to lose the game at this point. Looking pretty strong for the win. RKO didn't come back, so we're on 10 now. Their KO did come back, so they're actually on 11. All their KOs have come back now, so they even have a bench. So they've set up for the quick score. We, in hindsight, probably defended pretty terribly on the quick score. With 9. Ogre boneheads. So just a push. So the Blodge elf did what he needed to do in terms of keeping everyone occupied. Chor picks up the ball and passes it to the catcher, who decides to make a 4+3+ dodge through. And double rush. Obviously, if there was if the blitz on the Dark Elf was a POW, then he gets everything through, right? But as it was, a 4-3, it was pretty okay. So pick up, pass, dodge through, double GFI. It's a lot of dice that didn't fail. But we have an instant 2D on the ball with the Dark Elf themselves. So we decide to go for it. We double skull. And then we just get a push. So I was debating whether or not we'd put the reroll into it. And then when it was a double skull, I think we were forced to put the reroll into it. So we just take a surf over here. So I guess was kind of pointless. And then we just take the 4+ dodge off with the Rat Ogre to make this a 4+ dodge off for the catcher. Because you know it might fail. So I'm a bit worried about it going to 2-1. In that the humans are quite faster and have a bit more ability about them, right? So double skulls as well, re-rolled into a POW, into a Kaz, serious injured, which we output to try and save him, and it's remained a serious injury. So we've no Dark Elf next game. So we've taken 3 Kaz, and all 3 of them have been MNGs. And he gets the 4+ dodge off, pops it in for the 2-1. And now all of a sudden we're definitely down 2 players. And our KO stays out, so we're on, what's that, 9? 9 players with 3 turns left. And then bounce over here is pretty unfortunate. I mean, it's better than it being up here and it being a blitz for sure, but over here is still problematic. Means we don't have a whole lot to put into protecting and securing against their 11 players. So the Rat Ogre does activate, which means we can free up our Ogre to come back and help. We do get the pickup. And then we put in the Goblin scoring threat to try and pull away some of their players from just coming down here. As it is, you know, we have... what, 5 players versus their entire team gonna come down and rush us. So at least if we have the Goblin scoring threat up here, you know, we can maybe go up and pass, or we can do something. And double skulls into a POW. But so we sucked off a reroll. Goblin gets kicked in the face and gets stunned, so he's basically out of the game now. So yeah, it's basically these 5 players versus Tovaras's entire team to try and hold on for the draw. And here come the humans, looking to try and put the pressure on and force us into mistakes to give them the draw. Puts in the last reroll there, which I was very surprised by. And even the fling gets off to mark the Ogre, which means we have very little players. The Mino stays on the ground, the stab fails, so we blitz the fling to at least try and give ourselves, you know, some amount of players. I think in hindsight, we end up going up here. I think in hindsight, we probably put the ball here and then just cage. And then the Ogre goes 2, 3, 4, 5 to here or something. So the Orc was going to tag here, and then the Rat Ogre was going to come down and tag here. Well, try to dodge and tag here. But yeah, it's very, very tough. I didn't know where this blitz was coming from. Like, I thought this guy had to do the blitz. So, you know, guard or something comes down here, and then he comes up for the 1D. And then it's a good scatter this way, because you have the thrower to come and pick it up and then pass it. But as he did it, he put in the guard, and then the fling came around for the 1D. Which meant we won the game. In a very, well, I mean, kind of anticlimactic. Replays are often anticlimactic in Blood Bowl 3, aren't they? But, yeah, it was a tough game. A tough game. Like, we were very comfortable in some respects, but very, very tough in the end. It could have easily been a draw. You know, a couple of dice here or there the other way. So yeah, we get the win. Let's see if we can get the team up again. Like I said, 3 MNGs, which isn't great. And I think our kick guy, Random Frenzy. So yeah, I think what's going to happen is we're probably going to fire the thrower. Maybe not the next game, because of the MNGs, right? Because we're down 3, so we have 10 for the next game. So we'll definitely have to do some thinking for the next game. I'm not sure if we know our opponent for the next game yet. As you can see, like, very little games have happened last week. Just myself and Bembo Baggins and G City. All the other games are yet to happen. So we're 3rd at the moment. And yeah, that'll do it for this video. Until the next one. thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you later.